Hey everybody, welcome back to Stories with Grandpa. Here's another story that many people know. Let us read together Jack and the Beanstalk. So here we go. My book of Jack and the Beanstalk. Looks like there's a mom and there's a boy. There's something on the floor here. Is it money or is it beans? Let's find out. My book of Jack and the Beanstalk. A handful of magic beans were the start of Jack's thrilling adventures in the land among the clouds. Just imagine how you would feel if one morning you found a beanstalk outside your window which was so tall you could not see the top of it. Wow. The story has been specially retold by Jane Caruth. The lovely pictures are by Lapatelli, and the author and the book has been made for you by Autumn's Books. And here, this is an old book. To Heather from your friend Grahaem, October 8th of 1969. So this book is a long time old. Nearly 56 years ago it was given to Heather from Grahaem. Let's find the story. Ooh, lots of words. Once upon a time there was a poor widow who had a son called Jack. Jack and his mother lived in the country. They were so poor that they had only one cow, a nice cow called Milky White. Jack loved his mother very much, but alas, he was not a very clever boy or very hard-working. And if it had not been for Milky White, they would both have starved. But one day, something dreadful happened. As usual, Jack and his mother went to the shed where Milky White lived, and just as usual, Jack's mother expected to get a pail full of lovely creamy milk. To her surprise and dismay, Milky White had no more milk to give her. Uh-oh. Now, we shall really starve, cried Jack's mother at last. What shall we do? We cannot keep a cow which won't give milk, Jack said wisely. Don't you worry, mother. I will take Milky White to the market and sell her. She's a good cow and is sure to fetch a good price. Then we shall have all the money we need to buy food. Jack's mother wiped a tear from her eye as she said, You must set off this very day. She looks a little sad. That looks like a woodcutter or something outside there walking by. Maybe he's going to work. I don't know. I wonder what's going to happen, because once you run out, if you sell the cow and you run out of money, then what do you go for food? Poor Milky White. She seemed to know something was wrong as Jack led her outside into the sunshine. This is a very sad day for us, said Jack's mother. To be sure, life will not be the same without Milky White, and for the second time that morning tears began to run down her cheeks. Don't cry, mother, said Jack, as he took hold of Milky White's halter. After all, you still have me to look after you, and I shall make a good bargain once I get to the market. I hope so, said his mother. I hope you'll find yourself a good job, too. For truth to tell, ever since your poor father died, it has been a great struggle to carry on. At her words, Milky White looked as sad as a cow can look, and a big cow bell which swung from her neck gave a sad little ding and a sad little dong as she turned her head. As for Jack, he was so excited that he scarcely heard all his mother's wise words of advice. Well, he said at last, it's time I was off. And when next you see me, I shall have a big bag of money to hand over. You wait and see. Jack had not gone far down the road when he met a funny little man. Hello there, Jack. Where are you going? Asked the stranger with a smile. I wonder how this stranger knows Jack's name. To the market, Jack said, "to sell my cow." "No need to do that," said the old man. "I'll take your cow. In exchange, you can have these 5 magic beans. They're worth 10 cows." "What? Sell my cow for 5 beans?" Jack cried. "And why not?" said the old man with a chuckle. "Just make sure you plant them, for they will grow right up into the sky." So Jack made the bargain, and ran all the way home to show his mother the magic beans. But alas, his mother wept with rage when she heard what Jack had done. "Off to bed with you," she screamed, "you stupid foolish boy." And as Jack pulled the clothes over his red cheeks, she opened the window and threw the beans into the garden below. "What the heck have you done, you foolish kid?" That's what it sounds like to me, huh? Throws the beans out the window, and there he is looking sad. And hopefully a little bit embarrassed. That night, Jack could not sleep, and when at last he got up and looked outside, what a strange sight met his eyes. The beans had taken root, and there, reaching right up into the sky, was an enormous tree. It was so tall that Jack could not see the top of it. He rubbed his eyes and stared and stared. Wow, that's huge. That's big as around as his house is almost. "My 5 magic beans have grown into this wonderful beanstalk," Jack whispered to himself, "and I must be the one to climb it." And as soon as it was light enough, Jack scrambled out of the window and on to the beanstalk. Up, up, and up he went, until he came to the sky, and there, stretching before him, was a long, white road. He's pretty brave to climb all the way up to the sky. "Now I wonder where that road will take me," Jack asked himself. "I must follow it, for a road always has somewhere to go." So off he went, and after walking for some time, he saw before him a huge castle. It was such a splendid castle that Jack stopped for a moment to stare at it. Then he went on down the road until he came to the big, strong door of the great castle. Jack put his shoulder to it and pushed. That's an interesting castle there. And you'd think if you're making a trail, you'd go straight instead of zigzag, wouldn't you? Ah, well. Everybody does things differently. Let's see what happens with Jack. Oh, look at the size of that person. What's going to happen? The door swung open with a noisy creak, and Jack found himself in a vast kitchen. There at one end was the tallest woman Jack had ever seen in his life. Her black hair came down to her big shoulders. "Excuse me," said Jack. I wonder if you could give me something to eat. You see, I set off in such a hurry that I didn't have any breakfast." "If you stay here," said the woman, "you'll most likely be my husband's breakfast. He is a giant, and he has a great liking for grilled boys on toast." Wow, yuck. As she spoke, she peered down at Jack, whose head just about reached the top of the big porridge pan. "If I were you, I'd run away as fast as my legs would carry me. My husband will be home any minute now, and he'll be very hungry." Poor Jack began to tremble at her words, but he was so hungry, and the smell of the porridge she was making for herself was so good that he stood his ground. "Please," he said, "just give me a tiny sup of porridge, and then I'll be off. I don't think I want to meet the giant." "I don't think so either if he'll eat a boy." But Jack had scarcely time to taste the porridge before the great castle began to shake and tremble. "It's my husband," whispered the giantess. "Quick, hide in the oven." And she pushed Jack inside the great stone oven and put the lid on top just as her husband came in. So here's the oven over here, and she puts the lid on there. That's a little risky, don't you think? There's a big dude. Look how big he is. Fee, fi, fo, fum, growled the ogre. I smell... Just these 2 freshly roasted sheep, said his wife quickly. Eat them while they are hot. After his dinner, the ogre got out his 3 big bags of gold, and then he fell fast asleep, which was just what little Jack hoped for he would do. Silent as a mouse, he crept out of the oven. Now, what would you do? Would you run home? See, there's a bag of something, and there's a bunch of gold there, and gold there, and gold there. That's pretty risky, though. I wonder what he'll do. When Jack saw all the gold, he thought, why, just one of those bags would keep us in comfort for a long time. And no sooner had he thought this, than he picked up the bag and ran. Down the long road he ran until he came to the top of the beanstalk. The gold was so heavy that Jack threw it down first. Then he began to climb down after it as fast as he could. Jack, where have you been? His mother cried when Jack reached the ground. And where did all this gold come from? Don't worry, Mother, said Jack. Just give me something to eat and I'll tell you the whole story. You see, those beans were magic after all. I would have thought she would have noticed that already, right? But there's gold all over the place. That must have been the picture we saw earlier. She's got gold in her hand. There's gold on the floor over here and in the grass and over here and over here. And over here. Wow. That's a pretty fortunate thing. Jack and his mother had many fine hot dinners before the last of the gold was gone, and Jack set off once again for the ogre's castle. I will tell you a secret, Jack said to the ogre's wife when she came to the door, and then at once she invited him into the kitchen. No sooner had Jack sat down at the table than thump, thump came the noise of the ogre's huge boots. I wonder what secret he was going to tell the ogre. Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman, growled the giant as Jack disappeared inside the oven. No, no, said his wife, eat your dinner, and then ask your magic hen to lay one of her golden eggs for you. That always makes you happy. What? So there's the ogre, the big giant, and there's a chicken, a hen, and a golden egg, and look who's peeking out of here. I never saw a chicken lay a golden egg before. Wonder if it's real. Well, I expect you can guess what happened next. Just as soon as the ogre fell asleep, which he always did after his dinner, Jack nipped out of the oven, picked up the magic hen, and was off. But he forgot that hens cackle when they are frightened. The noise woke the ogre. He rushed to the door and was just in time to see Jack and the hen disappear down the long road. Uh-oh. Look at that. There he goes, running away with that chicken, and they're both seeing him, the little thief. Look, Mother, Jack cried as soon as he was safely home. She's a magic hen, and her eggs are of purest gold. We are rich again, and all our worries are at an end, for now we can sell the eggs for money. That is a pretty good chicken. Wonder how many eggs she lays a day. There's 4 right there. Most chickens only lay 1 egg a day when they're laying eggs. She looks happy. The chicken looks okay, and Jack looks happy. I sure hope they don't do anything stupid and cook the chicken. But there came a time when Jack began to wish for another adventure. So once again he climbed the beanstalk. This time he crept into the kitchen whilst the ogre's wife was drawing water from the well. And this time he watched while the ogre set before him his magic harp. Oh, there's a harp right here. There it is. Which sang most sweetly all by itself. I'll have that, said Jack. as he saw the ogre close his eyes and sleep. There he is hiding. You'd think he wouldn't probably push his luck too much, huh? Uh-oh. As silent as the quietest mouse, Jack crept towards the table and grabbed the golden harp. But as he made off with it, the harp cried out, "Master! Master!" And the ogre woke up. Away ran Jack, and after him pounded the ogre. But this is a huge guy and a little boy, so he's probably going to run fast and catch him. Down the long white road they ran, and with every moment the ogre was drawing nearer and nearer, for of course he could take giant steps. No doubt. What a foolish Jack. He's probably going to get killed before the end of the book. Uh-oh, look at that. There's the beanstalk, there's the giant, there's Jack, and there's the harp. Jack reached the beanstalk first, and down, down, down he scrambled. Down, down came the ogre after him, and Jack felt the beanstalk tremble. "Quick, mother! Fetch the axe!" Jack cried as he reached the ground. Then, with 2 strong blows, Jack chopped down the beanstalk, but only just in time. The ogre came crashing down too. In fact, he made such a huge hole in the garden that he was swallowed up and was never seen again. Wow. So there's the harp, there's the axe, there goes the beanstalk. Well, he's not going to climb up that thing anymore, is he? I wonder how come that beanstalk never had any beans. He could have collected them and sold the beans too. After that, Jack and his mother lived happily forever afterwards. The magic hen laid so many golden eggs that a kind neighbor came in every day to count them. I wonder how kind he is, maybe. And whenever they wanted music, Jack sat down his golden singing harp, which sang to them so sweetly. How strange to think that all their good fortune came to them from just 5 small colored beans. So there's the hen that lays the golden eggs. There's a big chest with all the golden eggs. There's a happy neighbor. There's Jack looking at the harp. And there's a chest. I wonder what they put in there. Whew. And that's the end. There he is climbing down. Well, look at that, eh? That was a fun story. Here it says, Jack and the Beanstalk is an old English story which has changed many times in the retelling. Some people will say, and of course we must agree with them, that Jack was wrong to take the ogre's most treasured possessions. But fairy tales do not obey any of the rules which help us to be good. Perhaps long ago, when the story was first written, it was shown that somehow or other Jack had the right to take the gold, the hen, and the singing harp. Jack's adventures are fun to read about, but you must not ever think that what he did was very good or very clever. And that's the end of Jack and the Beanstalk. I hope you enjoyed it.